Yeah, just a quick comment on the loyalty. So it's really neat. You just basically create an account. It recognizes your. I had two other purchases before. My natural cypress, which was my first pair, and then that pair of cognac horse rump that I had to have to sell. Maybe be lucky and we'll have sold them already by the time this video is posted. We'll see. But you just create an account and it recognizes your purchases and it kind of rates you based off its little scale and how much you've the amount of money, your purchase history, how much money you've spent on boots from them, climbs a ladder as far as discounts. And because I had bought two boots, both in the 400 range, I qualified for what they call silver status, and I got a 5% discount. So this is a $420 boot. So that saved me $21, and that's pretty cool. It took them down to $399. I don't know. Like, to me, that is a good way to get a customer to come back. Every subsequent purchase, you're gonna build up. So I have to check again. But with this purchase, I'm not sure if that takes me from silver to whatever the next status is, probably gold. There's a few different layers, and then you get up into like collector. I think is like the biggest one where you've spent a few $1,000s on boots. So like 5+ boots, and it's like 20% discount I think on a pair like that. Really makes sense because you keep coming back for those discounts. I think that is a much more appealing way to do it, to reward your customer. To they've supported your brand and bought your product, so you give them discounts for all their purchases. And if they keep buying, you increase it to a limit. Versus the PNW world where it's these really high prices, and then they run sales at certain times of the year. White's always runs their Black Friday, Thanksgiving time sale. I think they commonly do Father's Day, but I don't remember if they've done that every time. And then Nick's is constantly running random promotions here and there. And one, if you weren't paying attention, you'll miss it. And then two, there's lead times, and there's usually you can't get the discount on a certain build, or they're running it only on quick shift, which have typically kind of lame leathers, just work leather stuff in bad colors. Like they'll never give you quick ship 64 tan. I don't know why. Like it's more complicated, and then you gotta go wait, and then do you really want to jump on something and then have to wait 9 months for your boot, or 15 months if it's a Palouse or whatever. Palouse, whatever the hell the cowboy boot is. Like, you just get your boots. I think you get it even on the MTOs, like when they do those random MTOs. I'm still learning how Truman works, but like that actually makes sense. It makes me want to buy, and I did buy again from them because I got that discount. And next time I buy, I might have qualified for the next step up. And it might be two more purchases, so maybe this one and then another boot. I'll get to gold. I forget. I'll see if I can find the thing handy and throw in the video or something. But I think that makes sense. Like, that's cool. That's for this kind of space. And it's really making me kind of change my thought on all this, because it's like the PNW things, it's like these lasts, they have a lot of lasts, and they're kind of all have different fits, and then they tell you things like size the same in all of them, which I think is hogwash. And then if you do find your fit, then there's variance in lasting because it's handmade. Everyone always just they trump about the handmade being better, except for it causes variance and issues. And then sometimes the stitching looks like hell on some pairs and not others, and they try to say it's better because of that. It's better because the stitching is uneven and the freaking goes off the side of the boot. Like, it's just wild how people are like, it's almost like a cult where some brands are just making good boots. Viberg, I don't like the brand. They're like a weird fashion, high fashion, expensive. The CEO owner is this ego douche guy who seems to think he's the creator of service boots. He forgot about World War One and World War Two, and he thinks he's the only one who should be able to make them. And the guy has a lot of problems. He's a very strange individual, but they make a really good boot. Like, the detail is solid. They're consistent, and it's like everyone wants to trash it, and then meanwhile they're paying the same for, yes, and Nick's boot is more durable, but it has a lot worse finishing. And then they bring out something crazy like that Brandle that's double the price, more than double the price of a Viberg. $2,000 for the Cordovan pair, and it's horrendous looking. And I still think it's not as nicely made as a Viberg. It's just the stitching isn't as nice. It's like I don't know what they want to do. They feel like they're lost on what they're trying to accomplish. But it's like you're in this workspace where you have these guys saying you're a poser if you buy their boots, even if you get a heritage build, because you're not putting in the work. And then they have this super high end Brandle $2,000 boots, and it's like, what what do you want? Like, which way are you going on this? That whole gatekeeper crap on the work boot side is kind of a nonsense, and then I don't even know who their supporter of their $2,000 Brandle is. I think they're kind of all over the place. Whereas like Truman, it's like, well, they run stock. They sometimes do, made to order still. I know they used to be that way, but they've kind of evolved to just having stuff in stock. And they do occasionally do MTOs for those who have the appetite for really wanting a customized build. And they reward their customer for buying their product by giving them discounts. And there's no catch or magic with it. It's just you buy a few boots, you get a discount, you buy more, the discount goes up. Keep buying, it goes up. Like that's marketing. That's a good way to run a business. So that's kind of the where my brain was going on this. And I think if their last had always been a perfect fit for my foot, it would have been a no-brainer a long time ago. But the 20 last is not perfect, but I have yet to find it. No, I have one perfect last. The the True Balance from Alden is the perfect last. Literally, it's perfection on my foot. And I would say a real close second would be the Zero's flat toe last that I have on those pull-ons. Those two lasts are literally like perfection. Outside of that, pretty much nothing is perfect. There's a lot of compromises. But this one isn't more compromised than some other lasts that I like. It's just different. So I'm going to give it another go. And, you know, they, just like other brands, I'm just looking at this. They might not have the perfect, like, look at that, the stitching kind of got a little wonky there, like whites on the welt. So you gotta kind of accept that nobody's perfect. But when I pay $3.99 for a boot that I get less than a week after I purchased it, and there's a slight little issue, easier to swallow that than waiting 9 months for a pair of MTO from Nick's, as an example, and it arrives and the heel is not the way they said it would be, where they said they wouldn't compensate for the lack of a midsole, and they did, and they put a 6-layer stack instead of the 5-layer, and they have scratches all over them because they just don't care. Like, that pisses me off.